The Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference is coming to Dallas, Texas, February 16, 17, and 18 in 2018. If you know of a better way to get the latest insider knowledge about crypto, to hear directly from the top minds in this field, to interact personally with 800 fellow crypto lovers, hodlers, investors, miners, traders, developers, and founders, then I'd like to hear about it. If you don't, then you don't want to miss out. Register today for the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference. Go to bitcoinsuperconference.com and register today as a super early bird to get the lowest rates on tickets and hotel rooms. That's bitcoinsuperconference.com.
Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology Podcasts with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost Here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with Future Tech Podcast. My guest is Pavel Niedoba, one of the founders of Simple Coin. The website is simplecoin.cz. Pavel, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Okay, we have actually multiple.
So, Pavel, tell me about Simple Coin. What's the idea behind it?
Okay, Simple Coin is more or less what it says. It's supposed to be the simplest way of exchanging bitcoins to other currencies. Or it was bitcoins. Now we're working hard on adding more altcoins to this concept.
When you say exchange Bitcoin for other coins, does that mean you are an exchange, or are you doing atomic swaps, or what? How would people exchange their tokens?
Okay, we not really like exchange where we keep order book. We publish our price. The customer can see it up front. They can make order. We guarantee the price for hours, and then they have to send money via wire transfer, which works fine in Czech Republic because we have multiple banks, and the transfer within the bank is immediate. And if the money comes later, then the customer gets offer if he wants to accept the new price or he wants to cancel, and we send the money back.
Do you guarantee the price for how many hours?
It puts us into some risks because some people learn how to speculate on that. But anyway, it's like making the whole service much simpler, and the customer who knows what he gets. So
right.
We're trying to stick to this model.
So if I want to buy Bitcoin, let's say I want to buy 10 Bitcoin. So I wire you guys the money, and you tell me the price, and you get the wire, and then you'll deposit Bitcoin in my own wallet, or do you guys have your own wallet that you use for customers?
No, we actually don't like to keep Bitcoins, so we always ask customer to use their own wallets, and we encourage them to use the real wallets, not like web services which actually keeps the bitcoins in their wallet. And so we have a recommendation for few wallets like Electrum or Trezor, which is the hardware wallet, we have actually a worse experience with the blockchain info wallet because we have few customers reported that their bitcoins were stolen from there.
Okay, so Trezor and Electrum you guys like. Okay. What countries are your customers in? Just Czech Republic or other ones?
Most of the revenue comes from Czech Republic. We have some transactions we make every day in Poland, but Polish market is specific and there is a strong competition there. And we have the EU website, which is in English, and it's working seamlessly for the whole Euro market. So we actually having increasing volume there. We hope it will continue.
you don't have your own token, right? You're just you're essentially like a fiat gateway for Bitcoin.
Yes, we are thinking about making a special token with one gold company, but it's not like designed yet, and it's like in a business analysis phase now. But I think it will be a really great one. But so far we just work with the major tokens on the market, which is like, of course, Bitcoins, and we will come out next month with the Litecoin, Ethereum, and we will drop in Bitcoin Cash as well, because the wallet is actually in the place it is compatible, so it's easy to add this one.
Okay, so next month you said Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash will be added. What about Ethereum and ERC20 tokens? Is that further out in the future?
We're working hard on that, but the Ethereum is so specific coin, so even the simplest tasks are hard to implement with their wallets, which they have right now on the market. So we actually don't want to be like, we don't want to depend on some exchange wallet. We want to have our own full node wallet implemented, so we can really keep every currency which we exchange. And we're working with the parity wallet. We're integrating that, but it's much more difficult than Bitcoin-like wallet.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Are you guys going to develop your own wallet as you add tokens, your own multi-currency wallet, or are you going to depend on people having their own wallets?
We building a layer on top of the most standard node wallets, like the Bitcoin Core wallets, Ethereum. For Ethereum, we work with Parity wallet, which is like the most popular one, and the Litecoin Core wallet as well. So we're building like a layer on top of all these wallets, so we can list transactions, we can send and receive coins seamlessly for all currencies, which is like the hard task. That's what makes it for Ethereum so hard. It's simply difficult to get a list of incoming transactions on the contract. It's difficult to make wallet, to make backups of the wallets, because they're not really like deterministic.
Okay. How long do you think it'll take you to build your, layer 2 solution so you have your multi-coin wallet?
Okay, we have it already well tested for this Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and then we will add multiple. We will add more currencies, like the Ethereum comes first. But I wouldn't just call it like a simple wallet, because it's a bunch of computers, like a real hardware. It must be secured, because it's all you have. The private keys must never leave the wallet. It's really a hot wallet. So
right, I understand.
Yeah,
so you said that people will buy Bitcoin. They'll use a wire transfer. What about creating an app, for Android or iOS, where people can buy it using their bank account without having to wire money, like Coinbase does? Are you guys looking to do that?
Okay, you mean like to use the payment system from Apple or Android, or how else would you want?
An app, a simple coin app, where inside the app, you could use your debit or credit card to buy Bitcoin. So not just a wire, but you could do multiple ways, draft it from your bank.
I understand, but it's not a problem of the app. We are thinking about the app, but we're more like open to modify the page that it's well fit for the phone, so it's responsive and prepared to be used from the phone.
Right.
But the problem is with the cards itself. It's very hard to accept cards because of high fraud. There is a high fraud risk. So there is, we talked to some payment processors, and no bank will do it for us. And there are some payment processors who would actually work with porn companies. They would work with the gambling companies, but they don't work with the Bitcoin companies.
What about if a customer has to do a wire first, and you do your, KYC, you get their information, and then they use a card? Could they earn their way into using a card by doing wires first? Would that work?
We still thinking about the cards. The first problem is, like, even if we find some card processor who will do it for us, they will charge for about 5 to 8% from each transaction. So that's the first drawback. Then the second could be, like you said, it could be extended KYC. So maybe like recorded video call with your ID and your card, and specifying that you really want to use this card to buy Bitcoins. That could be a way. I heard somebody is doing it, and but it's not like top priority right now, because, for example, in Europe, some countries will implement SEPA instant payments, which is wire transfers settled in 10 seconds, 24 hours a day, and that's, if it's irreversible. That's why the cards is so risky, because the payments are reversible. So if you send Bitcoins to somebody and then you have to give back the money, then it's just your loss.
Top features that your users are requesting right now?
Okay, we have quite many users asking for affiliate programs. So we started working on that. So we will work with some major partner for affiliate programs.
Okay.
And they asking for more bank accounts, which is hard to get. It's actually much harder to open bank account if you state you're trading Bitcoins today. Like a few years it was like much easier because the banks were not that conscious about Bitcoins. So now they will ask for compliance, and they usually refuse to open bank account for our company. That's actually the biggest risk.
What about the government of the Czech Republic? What's their stance on cryptocurrencies? Do they like it or no? Or?
They are quite open. They say it's not regulated. There is no special permission needed. But this year in January, there was a new law which made us subject for a regulation, but it's actually good because now we can legally conduct this KYC. We can process the IDs of the customers, and we actually can talk to the police directly. They can share information with us, because before they couldn't call us and say, like, stop this transaction because it's fraud. They couldn't do it by law because we were not subject for regulation, but now we are. So we already working close with some Interpol people and with the Czech police, with the Czech National Bank, and the frauds actually got really low these days.
That's good. That's great. So you said you're considering issuing a token. What would be the use of the token if you did it? What would be the benefits?
Okay, we would like to have, for example, token bound to Czech koruna, like there is USDT, or maybe to have a token bound to some precious metals like gold. But for that you need a partner who can actually store all the gold and trade the gold for you. So
All right. So in addition to adding new tokens. What else is on your roadmap for the next 6 months to a year?
Hey, as I said, we going out totally with the new page. Then the next solution would be next thing we want to do is a solution for merchants, so they could seamlessly accept the crypto payments by receiving the national currencies. Because the idea is like that the barmans, they don't really want to keep Bitcoins or Ethereum coins and deal with that, but they would like to serve customers who would want to pay, using these currencies. So this is like what we could do. And since this year, every merchant is required to have a register connected to the internet, because every payment needs to be reported to the government immediately. So that actually means that we could supply them just with the software solution, and they could accept the crypto coins without any extra cost for the hardware. So that's actually...
that would be good. And then I guess you can, if they don't want to keep their money in Bitcoin, you could convert it for them to cash, to fiat, and then they wouldn't have to worry about dealing with it, the risk.
That's the idea. Like the added value would be that we would actually analyze the risk connected to the transaction. And if you imagine if you use Bitcoin, you want to pay for your beer, you cannot really wait from 10 to 50 minutes to confirm the transaction. So we would have to analyze the fees, the inputs, and the risks, connected to the transaction that we would just report to the merchant. Says like, okay, this is a risky transaction, so you should probably get the cash payment and return the transaction, the crypto transaction, to the client if it confirms.
Right. Okay. Yeah, in the United States, there's BitPay, and they're working with merchants here, so they might be a good, company to model yourself after or talk to.
Yeah.
Well, very good.
Basically, that's the same service we want to offer.
All right. Well, very good. All right. So, how can people that are interested reach you? You said you mentioned a couple of websites. So there's simplecoin.eu, the English version. There's simplecoin.cz, the Czech version. Any other ways for people to reach you?
We have this .pl, which is Polish version, and we have the .sk, which is Slovakian version. And the Polish, Czech, and EU version, they also differ in the currency. But
very good. All right, Pavel. Well, thank you for being on the call, and I'm glad that you're offering this service in those countries. I don't hear much about them, but that's just me. But I'm sure the interest is very high. So yeah, thank you for being on the podcast.
All right, I thank you too.
The Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference is coming to Dallas, Texas, February 16, 17, and 18 in 2018. If you know of a better way to get the latest insider knowledge about crypto, to hear directly from the top minds in this field, to interact personally with 800 fellow crypto lovers, hodlers, investors, miners, traders, developers, and founders, then I'd like to hear about it. If you don't, then you don't want to miss out. Register today for the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference. Go to bitcoinsuperconference.com and register today as a super early bird to get the lowest rates on tickets and hotel rooms. That's bitcoinsuperconference.com.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.